This week on Project UX, we're opening up the vault to look at Startup OConnect, an app that allows you to connect with like-minded folks at conferences and networking events you go to. It's a great idea for those who attend these type of events, and the UXperts really dive into making sure that the necessary features are really easily accessible so someone can utilize the app to its full potential without too much trouble. Let's get right into it, and I'll turn it over to our San Diego UXperts. Enjoy.
Hi, my name is Raj Oswal, and I love attending conferences. The problem is that I can't find relevant talks or connect with the right folks. Imagine a Yelp-like rating system that uses predictive analytics to suggest the conferences you should attend, followed by a recommendation engine that suggests who you should connect with at a conference. That is OConnect. So I'm going to go ahead and just launch the app right here, and it takes me straight into the agenda view. As an attendee, I want to make this as intuitive and as easy as possible when I'm at the conference, not complicated with features. I can click on the right-hand top little person icon, and I can log in through LinkedIn, Facebook, or Twitter if I'm an attendee without having to worry about the organizer logging me in. As soon as I log in, it pulls in my LinkedIn data. I'm going to scroll through the agenda here, and I find here that there's things that are not relevant to me. So I'm just going to swipe right, and I'm going to go hide those events. So I'm just looking for the things that are useful for me. And the things that are, I can go ahead and star those and add those to my agenda. I'm going to go ahead and click on something here, and you'll notice here that it shows me information about the conference. I can tweet. I'm able to add notes. I can send a question to the moderator, which is actually voted by the audience. And I can even download relevant files. If I go out of this view and I click on the toolbar, I can see a list of different options for myself. Let's go straight into the speaker and attendee view. This will give me a list of all the speakers and attendees to connect with. So again, we are really focusing on allowing connections within the app experience. If I select an attendee, I can read all about them, their bio, where they're from, what they do, and again, I can send questions directly to any speaker or attendee. I can also favorite an attendee of mine. If I go back out in the toolbar, you'll notice the announcement section. An organizer can send me any kind of announcement, or a marketer or sponsor can promote the event as well. So in general, you have all the basic conference features such as schedule, information, parking, scanner. We obviously share on social media, but it's really designed for the attendee and a seamless experience. Thank you.
From the app experience, I feel like you're maybe trying to do a little too much in the app in terms of the attendee experience. So I would really recommend experimenting with trimming away features. Like, how do you make the agenda as simple and clear as possible? I was missing a little bit in our view of it, of how either talks or like how individual things were recommended per se, and how the connection with other people was coming through per se in that kind of recommendation idea that was being pitched. I think it's one part technology side, one part kind of product side, but the other facet to it is the design of it, and if something is recommended, how do you surface it? How do you bring it to someone's attention, make it more engaging than something else? There's a few things that I think that could be easily resolved from a UI side. Like when you hide something, it kind of fades. Maybe it should hide, right? We can, there's a lot of kind of little nuances like that, but those kind of add up to an overall approach that would make the experience more engaging.
Yeah, I think you hit on the complexity issue. That was something that stood out to me. Just looking at the sidebar, and I know you talked about wanting to pare that down a little bit, because it can be kind of a little bit overwhelming to see all of those options. I don't know exactly how you solve that offhand. You talked about value for the conference attendee. You might think about it in terms of before, during, and after, as far as the value that you get, because without using those words, you talked about the different ways that you provide value without that clear of a message of exactly how people are doing it. Because you've got a lot from overall conference discovery to now I'm participating in this one conference and then I'm going to get recommendations also. I don't know if there's recommendations for afterwards, but I think there are a number of ways, even just in, let's say, the agenda list view, to simplify the view, make it a little bit easier to use a designy term, reduce the cognitive load, so people don't have to think about as much. They just scan the headline and then they can expose a little bit more information as they're going along. One of the things I would really like to see is a little bit more personality in the app as well. I think you've got some good fundamentals here, but a white labeled app, when it is a white label app, doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be a vanilla design. I think you can put a lot of not really like outstanding personality, but really subtle design cues in there that are going to improve just the feel, whether this is being used for a life sciences conference or a design conference. I think you've got a really good foundation here, but the use of it is something that I would want to feel a little bit more fluid, that has just a touch more personality to it.
Personality would help. I think what you've got is an app that has basic table stakes. You have to be able to understand what is the agenda, where do I go. You also have a buyer who is purposely trying to help their attendees have a fantastic event. The problem is you've got multiple apps here, and it feels like you haven't really nailed the value proposition for the attendee. So going out, interviewing those attendees, figuring out why would they even use this app, what would benefit them right now, at the beginning, before they get there, when they're at the event, and then at home. A lot of times you learn a lot of great things at these events, but you can't use anything in the app later on because it's stuck behind a firewall. And you can't access those people that you met because they're stuck behind a firewall. So help attendees really enjoy your app, use your app to the most, and then export that information or somehow find out what they would use from that app later on to better engage with the organization that started their conversation in the first place.
The backbone is really strong, and I think, again, it's more about kind of expanding, in one way, expanding the vision before, during, and after, like giving the idea of the timeline of the experience, I think is really critical. Maybe could be more reflected better. On the other hand, I also think that it's a matter of, in each of those stages, how do you pare it down to what is most valuable? Because when you get down to that valuable nugget, again, you're not only solving the problem for the attendee, you're making it valuable for the sponsor, streamlining it for the organizer, and kind of covering all those bases.
And remembering, like, you have multiple users here, and each of them have a unique set of needs and very unique purposes for using the app. There's huge potential to integrate a lot of the stuff that the speakers are doing right into the app or into the experience itself. All of that helps build a much better experience, builds the value to the conference, as well as supports the overall user experience.
Yeah, it just kind of comes to mind, talking about the different audiences that you have here, that this is kind of like Google's overall strategy, where they're giving us free services like Gmail that are great, but really their customer are advertisers. And so you might need to frame things that way. Make an incredible app for the conference attendees, but know that your actual customer is the people that are paying you for the app.
Experts, thank you for your feedback. Let's have a round of applause for OConnect. Raj, thank you.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the episode. We'd love to know what you think in the comments below, so like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. It means the world to us, and we'll be back soon with more UX content for you coming your way. Until next time.